G'day my friends, Marty Ware here from Marty's Garden, and in today's video we're going to look at what is the cheapest option to getting a vegetable garden started. Is it raised beds? Is it a potted garden, which is number 2? Is it a no-dig garden, which would be number 3? And is it a dig garden, which would be number 4? Hopefully I've got those fingers all right there. And let's get into this video because I reckon you could choose the best one for you, depending on your budget, what you want to achieve, and how you want to get started. Now, I have got some really awesome tips and tricks for you today, why we are filming here and walking around in my garden, which is just around about 27 months old now. And being a horticulturist and being in this game for a very long time, pretty sure I've got some good value to add to you guys. Now, what I want you to do is keep watching right through the video and then make some decisions, because what you can do is, if you're serious about this and as you're moving on, you can actually step into these different types of gardening as you go and grow. Now, I'm going to start with the raised beds first, and we're going to turn the camera around here because we're vlogging today here at Marty's Garden. And this is a raised bed. This is a Birdie's raised bed, and it's got an avocado in here. There's some tomatoes, and we've got some zucchini getting started, and some more zucchini, and a really amazing plant called betel leaf, which comes out of Southeast Asia, very popular in India. You can use this, it grows like a strawberry runner, and it's a perennial, really tasty. It has a bit of an earthy flavour, and if you steam it, it actually comes out with even more of a stronger flavour. It's really good to just snip it off, roll it around and eat it like a wrap, like that. And it's really great for women with menstrual cramps and things. And this was one plant, and yeah, it's cranking. So let's get back to it. Just wanted to show you that plant. Raised beds. Now, raised beds to me are not the cheapest option to get started, but they are something that you want to look at down the line, depending on your budget. Now, I really like them, but you do have to fill them up, and they are expensive to fill up. And you can use the hugelculture method, which means you fill it up with logs and different things that will rot down eventually. And then I put bales on top of mine, and then put compost on top and just feed the system. And we end up with a very, I wouldn't say profitable, but profitable for the backyard, because it becomes very fertile over time. And so you can keep planting into it over time. So that's something that you might want to plan on down the line if you're just getting started. Or get one raised bed and just start working on that bed and building it up over time. My next option really is, before we talk about dig gardening, is a bale garden or a no-dig system, where what we're doing is we're putting carbon down onto the ground, so some type of like grassy material or a broken down wood chip. The more broken down or the finer it is, the better. I use these grass bales, but any of the bales are really good. And what we do is we cure them and then throw the compost on top and start growing really awesome plants like this eventually over time. Because what happens? That's choco. Yep, choco. Look at that. Look at this big. So I just shown you, before we get too carried away, I just shown you in my not my dig garden, in my other garden there, the raised beds, a zucchini. Now look at the difference between this and that raised bed. Now there is a reason why this one is much healthier, and I really like these systems. I really love no-dig systems, but they do take a little bit longer to get going at the start. But once they're going and you just keep feeding them, they grow amazing plants. And they seem to be much healthier than other systems because they're connected to the ground, to the mycorrhizae, fungi, earthworms, and different things, to the soil web. Now, they are cheap to get started because you only really need around about, say, 4 bales to get a small one going. And then you just build out like around them, like I have here. I've just put a trellis around here with some old dog wire and some old tomato stakes to start building the vertical section. But the beautiful thing about these is you can actually do something like this, and you can put bales around the outside and just fill it up with compost and soil and things like that as well, if you want to do a quicker system. And that'll work quite well. I've built on top, which I prefer, but you can use them as borderline for beds and things, and that'll works really good too, because the bale material will lock in a lot of moisture, and it will hold a lot of moisture over time. So when you're not watering or you're missing between waters, it'll still lock in, and it will lock in a lot of moisture when it's raining. You can see how well this cucumber is performing right here. So you can build a border around the outside to fill it up, or you can put the bales down on top and then start throwing on top. Now, if you're getting ants problems in them and things like that, they're not wet enough. They need to be quite moist before you start really planting into them. So what I want to talk about now is dig gardens, and they're probably one of your cheapest options if you don't want to use borders and things like that. You do need to add to them, because generally soils are pretty barren these days. So they need to have compost, and you might add some some gypsum or something like that to break up the clay. If you've got sandy soil, you'll need to add more compost to really hold more moisture. And they are one of the cheapest ways to get going. You need to raise it up the bed so it's sort of round or height, so you get airflow into it as much as possible, and you'll get a better result. So they're the cheapest ways to go. I don't have any dig gardens here. I did when I first got started, and it's where the chicken coop is right now. It was our dig garden area, and they're in there digging up, so if we ever move that, that'll become another garden space as well. So hopefully that's helped you so far, but there is another option, and it's a very cheap option to get started, and you can expand out like I have, because I started here with a dig garden, and I started here with containers, and then I moved into bales, and then I moved into raised beds. So what we're going to do is we're going to move around. Well, I guess you could call this a dig garden, right? Strawberries there. Look at these strawberries. Look at the size of these leaves here. Just absolutely beautiful. And I've been eating a few little strawberries out of here every day. So, yeah, I take it back. I do have a little dig garden here with some garlic chives and some strawberries, some oregano, and some mint right over there. And these are all the wife's succulents. All right, so we're going to keep heading down to the front to the Victory Garden. Yep, a V for Victory. Let me know in the comments box if you've been watching the series, because it's been a very important series, the Cost of Living Victory Garden series, and it's been helping a lot of people. So we're just going to go through the gate here. You hear the noise there? Yep. It's been helping a lot of people grow food, and I want to thank everyone so far that's been helping out and supporting me, watching my videos, sharing my content, and even going to as far as going to Aussie Gardener and using my link and buying some of the products there. Super stoked for you, and just really happy. Now look at this. If you've been following the sweet potato, it's nearly reaching the other garden beds that we still haven't got in there yet to clear it all up and get ready for the harvest. And oh, look at that. Look at that. These are raised beds here, guys. And there's some eggplants growing there. And we've got eggplants in boxes over here, actually grow bags, these ones. We do have other food in boxes. Now, you can see here, these are grow bags, geofelt grow bags. And we've got the long eggplant growing in these, and these grow quite well in containers. And we got here, these are spring onions that we sprouted from seed, and then the basil boxes, which we're going to do a video about coming up in the very near future about the basil boxes. So growing like this is a very cheap option to get started, especially if we're going to start in a recycled container and we can get hold of some good quality premium potting mixes or composts at a good price and on special, and we germinate straight from seed. Now, I put a video out yesterday about germinating from seed. So if you haven't watched that, what we do is we just talk about, we're sprouting some cucumbers and we're doing some cuttings from the sweet potato. But the process is the same for nearly all cuttings and all plants, and I show them how to do that. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check that out because it's really important. So at the Victory Garden here, this is really showing container gardening and how much food we can grow in a small space. Now, I've actually got too much food growing on in here because I'm trying to make as many examples as we can, such as like potatoes as well. And then we've got the snake beans coming along as well. And over here, if you've been following along, the pumpkin, we have our first little baby pumpkin starting right there. And this is called a Jacoby Little. It's a dwarf pumpkin. And so a potted garden is really, really beneficial for getting started at start. And you get to try it and see if you like it and go, hey, and then you learn, you make a few mistakes, you get the groove on, so to speak. You know, you get used to starting to growing food, you learn about plants and things like that. And it's a very, very cheap option, especially if you go to like the recycled center or you look for pots and things being thrown out in the street. Or like me, the example of the foam boxes, these are free, 100% free, and you stop them from going into landfill for a little while, and then eventually you can move away from foam boxes, if you like, into larger containers and things like that. So the thing with potted gardens is you need to liquid fertilize a bit more. You do need to top dress a bit more because they're not in the ground and they're not getting the same type of nutrient flow. So what you're putting into the pot and what you're feeding the pot through top dressing or through liquid fertilizing, then that's the results you'll get from the plants. Now these are a little lettuce called All Summer or All Year or something like that. And over at the back here, sweet potato growing in the pots. Now, we do have like a little snaxicum growing in here, and he's getting overtaken by the sweet potato. We've got some little capsicums there. Look at that. Oh, that is delicious, 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 delicious. So happy to have those. Now, we could do a full tour of the garden here and show you everything that we're growing on. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments box down below. Full tour of the Victory Garden, of every plant that we have, how they're coming along, and a full breakdown. I'm sure I could get that together for you guys. We're going to have the basil boxes coming up. Let me know also if you'd like to learn about growing them in the basil boxes and containers and getting a nice supply of basil growing. Love to help you with that and keep on showing you what's in season, what to grow now, and how to grow it now so you can grow a cost-efficient gardening. If you missed any parts of this video, you've skipped it, go back and go through it again, because what you want to do is you want to start off with a potted garden, then you want to move into, if you've got the system, a no-dig garden or some raised beds, and start working out slowly so you can get used to gardening and learning about growing food. And make sure you follow Marty's Garden too. That way, you will keep growing on, you'll keep learning, and you'll enjoy the process because I've made all the mistakes and you can learn from them and not have to apply them here. All right, have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you at the next video real soon. But for now,